Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Robin will awaken in Elbaf, and I'm going to reveal everything to you in today's video. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, if Robin's Hana no Mi were to awaken, it could elevate her abilities to a whole new level, expanding the possibilities of what her devil fruit can truly do. Since her introduction in the story, Robin has always demonstrated impressive creativity in using her power, but there's still so much about the nature of the Hana no Mi that remains unexplored. And considering the pattern of awakenings we've seen so far, perhaps her fruit's awakening would involve something far beyond what we already know, amplifying the scale and control she has over parts of her own body. In chapter 1021, we saw Robin use her Demonio Fleur for the first time, a gigantic form, where she literally manifested a demonic version of herself to fight Black Maria. This was already an indication that Robin was exploring a more advanced use of her fruit, since until then, she had only manifested separate body parts and had never created such a large and powerful form. That raises an important question. If Robin can already create a giant clone of herself, what would happen if her awakening pushed this even further? If we look at the awakenings of other Paramecia-type fruits like Katakuri's Mochi no Mi in chapter 882 and Doflamingo's Ito no Mi in chapter 785, we can see a clear pattern. Awakening allows the user to affect their environment, transforming it into an extension of their own power. So if we apply that logic to the Hana no Mi, maybe Robin's awakening would allow her to make any surrounding surface bloom with parts of her body, not just solid objects anymore. This would mean Robin could make parts of her body appear in the air, in water, or even inside other people. If we think of this offensively, she could literally create arms inside an enemy's body and use them to restrict movement or even cause massive internal damage. In chapter 880, when we see Katakuri reshape the battlefield into Mochi, it lets him fight in a way no one can predict. If Robin had a similar awakening, she could turn the entire battlefield into something completely covered with her limbs, making any space a territory where she holds full control. But the most interesting part of all is that if she could create body parts in the air, that would theoretically mean she could fly. In chapter 1015, we see Sanji carrying Zoro while jumping through the air and using Geppo to move freely. If Robin could create giant hands in the air and use them to propel herself, she could move in a completely new way, becoming a far more elusive and agile fighter. This would drastically improve her ability to battle in any environment, as she would no longer be limited to the ground or to finding surfaces for her body parts to emerge from. Also, considering Robin already manifested a giant form of herself, her awakening could allow her to create multiple giant clones at once. In chapter 1021, her demonic form was incredibly strong, but it was still just one entity. Now imagine if she could summon several clones of the same size, she would become a combatant of colossal proportions. Picture a battle where Robin spawns multiple demonic versions of herself, surrounding the enemy and attacking from all directions. She would become an almost unstoppable force. Another important detail about awakenings is that they seem to grant the user a more natural mastery over their powers. In Law's case in chapter 1030, when he uses his K-Room to affect Big Mom's body internally, we see that his awakening allows him to go beyond what he was already doing with his Ope no Mi. If Robin followed that same principle, her awakening might let her manifest limbs with even more resistance and flexibility. This would address one of her main weaknesses, the vulnerability of her duplicated limbs. In chapter 398, when Spandam breaks the arm she had created, we see she feels the pain of each destroyed limb. But if her awakening made these limbs stronger, she might be able to create arms and legs with much greater durability, making her fighting style more resilient and reliable. And this brings us to a very interesting concept. If Robin can create body parts that are more resistant, maybe she could even make living weapons out of herself. Thinking about how her fruit works, she could technically create swords made of bone, whips made of her own fingers, or even spears formed from elongated parts of her body. That would give her an arsenal of natural weapons without needing to carry anything physical. When we look at the most powerful devil fruit users in the series, one thing they all have in common is the ability to use their powers in extremely versatile ways. In chapter 1090, we see that Saturn, one of the Gorosei, can manifest a monstrous form that completely alters his body, which makes us wonder how far a devil fruit can go when used to its full potential. If Robin truly reaches that level, then her awakening could place her among the strongest fighters in the world, as she would no longer be just a strategist, she would become someone capable of dominating the battlefield with her presence. If Robin has already shown that she can take on a demonic form, then perhaps the awakening of her fruit could take that concept even further. And that leads us to one final thought. What if the awakening of the Hana no Mi allows Robin to create complete versions of herself, but with full independence? That would mean she could generate multiple autonomous copies, capable of acting separately and carrying out different tasks at the same time. Considering Robin has always been a character tied to the pursuit of knowledge, such an awakening would greatly enhance her ability to explore and uncover new secrets. In the end, I believe the awakening of the Hana no Mi has the potential to transform Robin into someone who can not only fight on equal footing with the biggest names in the world, but also manipulate the environment around her in ways no one would expect. If her devil fruit is already terrifying when used creatively, then her awakening could take her to a level where she becomes an unstoppable combatant. And considering everything we know about Robin and her journey so far, maybe this power is exactly what she needs to face the challenges that still lie ahead. And now, in the current Elbaf arc, it's possible that Robin's awakening could reach a whole new level, even more powerful than what we've seen so far. What stands out in this scenario is the potential she has to connect with the giants of Elbaf and their culture. Throughout her journey, Robin has always shown herself to be someone who adapts to her surroundings and learns from others. And now, in Elbaf, where the giants possess incredible abilities and immense physical power, Robin may find the key to taking her powers even further. Considering Elbaf is the land of giants, it wouldn't be surprising if Robin, through interaction with their culture and possibly training with these legendary warriors, discovered new ways to apply her awakening. The giants are known for their monumental strength and likely a deeper connection to combat and the powers that dwell in nature. It's possible that, by learning from them, Robin could improve her control over her own fruit and explore new ways to expand her abilities even further. An intriguing possibility would be for Robin to start creating giant versions of herself. We've already seen her create a gigantic form during her fight with Black Maria, but in Elbaf, she could go even further and learn to create even larger and more imposing versions of herself with greater autonomy and strength. Training with the giants could help her enhance her endurance and control over these forms, giving her the power to fight alongside the warriors of Elbaf in an even more impactful way. Imagine a scenario where during this training, Robin begins to develop the ability to create versions of herself that are not only giant, but also possess full independence, just like we've seen in other Devil Fruit awakenings. This would allow Robin to not only fight strategically, but also multiply her combat capabilities in an impressive way, creating multiple powerful giant clones of herself that could attack from all directions. She would evolve from a brilliant strategist into a true force of destruction on the battlefield, with several arms and versions of herself attacking in perfect coordination. Additionally, the giants of Elbaf, known for their strength and resilience, could also help Robin improve the durability of the limbs she creates, making them virtually indestructible. This could solve one of the weaknesses of the Hana no Mi, the vulnerability of the limbs Robin creates. If her arms, legs, and other body parts become stronger and more resistant, she would no longer have to worry about pain or the loss of her created limbs during combat, allowing her to maintain full control of the fight without limitations. This connection with Elbaf, therefore, would not only enhance Robin's abilities, but could also represent a turning point for Luffy's crew. She would gain the power to fight alongside giants, not just with brilliant strategies, but with impressive physical strength and endurance, similar to the giants themselves. This could be essential, especially in future battles against powerful enemies, where she could take on a leading role on the battlefield. Far more than just a master of manipulation, she would become a giant in both spirit and strength. But what do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.